Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us. For this special educational video we're going to be talking about GPS. That is of course gold plastic syndrome, what we refer to in the Transformers figure fandom, rather than the global positioning system on your sat-navs. What we're going to do in this video, I'm going to discuss and show you bits about what it actually is. I've got in front of me a lot of the figures, in fact nearly all of the figures from the Generation 1 continuity that do suffer from it the most, so I can point out the areas that you need to be aware of where you're looking at with them. And for the ones that I haven't, I've got a couple of picture references as well, just to show you that. So again, the purpose of this video is just to make you aware of the things that you need to look out for, because it is very common in all of these figures, and of course it does mean that it can devalue the figures, and unfortunately they can be damaged very, very easily. So before we get started, I also want to make a big thank you again to Andrew Rodwell, because he sent me this broken piece of gold plastic here. I'm going to show you in a second, obviously so I could complete the video, because I didn't really want to break any of the ones which we've got in front of me. I have unfortunately been a victim of it quite recently, a couple of times actually, when I was doing the Thunder Clash, which is this guy here on the left. When I was doing his video, unfortunately his gun did break, so I'll show you a picture of what that gun looks like. But before we get started, gold plastic syndrome then. What it actually is, it's the terminology used to describe the phenomenon of a toy's plastic decomposing and becoming brittle. So with the gold plastic, it sometimes becomes that brittle that it can literally just shatter without even being touched. And it's strongly advised that the figures that you can see in front of you, and I'll go through them individually in a second, aren't transformed because of this. There's a really prominent and really expensive figure, and I actually don't even own him. And his name is Black Zarak, and he's just a Japanese repaint of Scorponok, so you'd know what the figure would look like. But they use gold plastic on his feet and things like that, and they are very, very widely renowned for it just breaking apart and being quite brittle. The breakage is different from the relatively more common stress fracture types, and they think it's not 100% scientifically proven, but they think it's just down to obviously the colours and the mixing inside the plastic that did make it that little bit more brittle. And it really does, it just crumbles to pieces. We've got Pyromagna here in front of me, and then this is his, excuse the reflection, that's his obviously waistband, and just as he was transforming it, the back of it just shattered out. And again, thank you very much for sending me this. So yeah, let's go through some of the figures and the ones that are the main culprits of it. So we've got on the left, we've got Thunder Clash. You can see he's got the feet, but also his trailer as well. It's got a huge fold out gun, which is gold. I did do a video on that, and I was lucky enough to not break that, so I'm not going to do that again, get it out just in case. We've then, of course, I've just mentioned we've got Pyromagna, and I've got another one here that I don't even want to transform, and you can see the arms there. That's why the arms in that figure are staying down, not to be moved again. You've got two little Monstructor bots, and you've got Slog, which is the first one. His legs and the actual whole torso is very common to breakage, not as much however though as this little guy Bristleback. He's very common to GPS in these legs here, especially at the top, and the arms. These really do shatter quite easily, so I'm going to attempt to stand him up, and if he falls over, unfortunately I'm just going to leave him right there. So as you can see by the figures out there, they're none of the earlier release of the Transformers. They're all like, you know, the very tail end, the latter end of the Generation 1 continuity, with the Pretenders and of course some of the European exclusives and Japanese exclusives as well. So we've got the small Pretender and a Robots. We've got obviously Roadblock, which is the Decepticon. His hand, in fact, there we go. His hand, see, it's just a little bit damaged there. I didn't even realise that. These videos, I'm finding out all these bad things about my figures. And of course the toes, they are very, very commonly broken. So if you do get them and you are displaying them, it is advisable to just literally leave them as they are. Same with Skyhammer. Skyhammer's got loads of GPS. And the little robot there, we've got his toes. In the inner shell robot, we've got the guns, and again the toes there, when they fold, I've seen them crumble quite a lot. And if you're looking at some damaged lots on eBay, maybe you'll always find one of these, mainly because of that. Now the biggest victim I was because of his actual Pretender shell. The whole base of this is gold plastic, and literally one day I literally just walked past it, and I'll show you where it was positioned in a bit, and I caught it with my shoulder. I didn't knock it off, I didn't do anything at all, and it just literally fell to pieces into like two big pieces, then loads of little bits all at the front. So you need to be really aware, I'll pick this back up again, of especially these bits here where they clip on and off of the main shell. That really is a very, very common area for it to break in. Now you can see In between Skyhammer and Skyquake, we've got Lyokazer, and the tank, which is his right leg, but it looks like his left one from the angle we're looking at it. Kill Bison is his name, and if I very carefully pick this up, you'll see that Drillhorn here, I've folded his foot out, but I'm not even going to attempt to do that with there. So he is also very, very prone to being broken, especially when transforming. And you see his head in there. His head can obviously break off quite easily when you're transforming and combining him. I did a video on him, one of my very, very first videos, and somebody put a comment that you could fold the foot out the same as that, but that's the reason why I haven't. I might do an updated video again soon, but that's the main reason why I haven't. Now this big guy is Skyquake, and all the back of him, all this here, this very, very commonly gets shattered. In fact, there's a brilliant picture of this really shattered up on TF Wiki. So as I say, these are your main culprits, shall we use that terminology? I think we will. Main culprits of your Generation 1. There's a few others which are not actually a problem, although it looks like gold plastic, but it's not. So you've got Stalker, where this bit here looks like gold plastic, but it's not, it's just gold paint. So that's fine. That's the same as his torso piece there. It's not actually gold plastic. If you move it, you can see that it's just gold paint. So there's nothing to worry about with that particular figure. And there's a few on the G2 line, so I'm going to go hands-free quickly now with this because I don't own them, but I've got a couple of pictures. So we've got, he's the big one as well. He's Electro. He really, really does fall to pieces quite bad. And in fact, there you go, on the TF Wiki page, there's a picture of just what happens to his legs. Very, very brittle at all. That is Pyro's gun, which unfortunately fell to pieces in the making of the video that I was doing. And then there's, while I'm here quickly, there's G2 Slingshot, which unfortunately is, let's get rid of the light reflecting, he is all gold. Now there are a few other figures in the later continuity of the toy line, but I obviously don't own them, and the purpose of this video is just for mainly Generation 1 and obviously just that little bit of Generation 2 knowledge there. Okay, so I hope you find this video educational. These are the main figures, as I say, apart from Black Zarak to be aware of. In fact, I might as well show you Black Zarak while we're here. But yeah, it's very common. If you do own them and you are just displaying them, I would literally advise just to do that. Although it is quite fun and obviously very, very tempting to transform them, it just isn't worth it. There is Black Zarak, and you can see there's his feet, his gun, shield, his dual cannons, and his obviously main shield on his left arm there. They are all very, very brittle, and that figure is definitely not worth buying to break. So there we go. This is Gold Plastic Syndrome. I hope it helped you. I've just remembered I said I'd show you where he normally sits, and that's where he normally sits. So he does sit quite safe on that top of the bookcase there, but as I came up into this part of the room, I just caught this with my shoulder, because that's, yeah, about my shoulder height, and it did literally just crumble. The whole base fell off. So as promised, sorry it was way too late at the end of the video, but that's where it was, and I just wanted to again make you aware of how easy it is to damage them. So there we go. That was Gold Plastic Syndrome. I hope you found it interesting. Please be aware of it, and obviously take care and subscribe for more.